question I always get asked by people who are just starting with photography is, what camera should I buy? Normally my answer is not the most expensive, not the latest, because I really think if you're a beginner, it's best to save a little bit of money on the body and invest in lenses instead. So today I'll show you the 3 lenses that I've been using the most over the years and I think are kind of essential in every kit. Now the lenses that I will be showing you are all from Nikon or Nikon, however you want to say it, because I'm an Nikon user. But every camera brand out there like Canon and Sony, they all have an equivalent of the lens I'm going to mention, so don't worry about that. The first lens you'll probably come across is a kit lens. That's the lens usually a camera body will be sold together with. Buying the kit lens and the camera body together will normally save you a little bit of money, but you don't have to buy it if you feel like you're not gonna need it. You can always buy the camera body separately. A kit lens would normally be a zoom lens, so the one that you can, zoom in and out with. And normally you would get the 24 to 70 millimeter one. This is the one I'm actually currently filming with, so I'll just show you some B-roll. But yeah, the 24 to 70 is a very standard kind of lens. It's great for shooting just everyday stuff on a day-to-day basis. It is quite versatile for a beginner, I would say, because with a 24 focal length you can shoot, for example, landscapes, and with a 70 millimeter focal length you can shoot portraits, and of course everything in between, kind of. But at the same time it is slightly limiting. Even though you can zoom in with it, you can't zoom in too much. I would say if you're looking for an everyday lens, or if you're just starting with photography and don't really know what you'll be focusing on, if you'll end up taking photos of landscapes or people or animals, the 24 to 70 millimeter kit lens will be great to start with. I've always bought a kit lens together with my camera body at first when I was just starting out, mainly because I just needed to learn how to shoot with the DSLR, so the kit lens was enough for me. Eventually, when I started investing into other lenses, I have to admit I didn't really use the kit lens anymore. But now that I have a new camera, I bought it 2 years ago, I got the Nikon Z6. I actually bought the kit lens together with it again, mainly to use it for video, because I do a lot of video and it's just a sweet lens to use for that. It's also a newer lens, it's a little bit more professional. It also wasn't the cheapest, I think it was around 1,000 euros. There's definitely cheaper options for, beginner DSLRs. So yeah, what I'm trying to say is if you're just starting out, a kit lens will be great for you. But if you already know, for example, that you'll be shooting only wildlife or only landscapes and you're not going to get a lot of use out of this one, then just, skip it and invest in something else instead. And the second lens I need to mention to you is my ultimate travel lens. This is the baby that goes with me everywhere. It is the most versatile lens, and normally when I travel, I don't even take it off. Like, this will go on at the beginning of my travel journey and won't come off until I'm back home, because it is just so versatile and it's everything I kind of need. This is the 18 to 300 millimeter lens. Again, it is another zoom lens that you can, zoom in and out with. If you have a budget to only buy one camera lens and are gonna do a lot of traveling, this is the one to go for sure. It's basically a wide angle and a telephoto lens at the same time. With the 18 millimeter focal length, you can shoot buildings, landscapes. If you're a travel blogger, you can take pictures of hotel rooms and you'll get like a lot of the room into the shot. So basically everything that's big. And with a 300 millimeter focal length, which is this, you can shoot anything that's super far away. So wildlife, this was my safari buddy. I just used this lens when I was in Namibia and it covered everything. So yeah, I took it with me on a safari as well. It was perfect. I was able to get all the shots. I didn't really need anything else. I've had this lens for a really long time. I've used it even with my old camera, and now with my new camera I just use it with a converter. But yeah, when I got it, I think this was around 700 euros. You can also get the 18 to 200 millimeter one which costs, I think, around 500 euros, but obviously you won't get as much zoom. It's still a considerate amount, it's still gonna be good, but I am glad that I got the 300 one, because when I do travel, I do like to shoot wildlife as well and get those really secret shots from like way back. Then another option is to get two different lenses to replace this one. So you can get a wide angle lens and a telephoto lens. A wide angle lens, normally you would go for maybe 16 to 24 millimeter, something along those lines. And then like the industry standard, I guess, for a telephoto lens, like the standard one would be 70 to 200 or 70 to 300 millimeter. Moving on to the third and last lens I'll be recommending to you today is either the 35 millimeter or the 50 millimeter lens with a low f-stop. Those are the lenses that give you that really nice blurry effect in the background. They also let in a lot more light, so they're great for low light situations. These are especially great for portraits, for food photography, some product photography, even street photography. They're also a lot smaller, very light, easy to carry around. This is actually not the size of the whole lens. This is the converter that I use. This here is basically the size of the actual lens. Now, unlike the other two lenses I've shown you, this is not a zoom lens. You cannot zoom it in and out. It's called a prime lens. So if you'll want to get a closer or a more far away shot, you'll actually have to move your body a little bit, because you'll just have to walk closer with your camera or move further back. So I have the 35 millimeter one. My lens has an f-stop of 1.8, but another popular f-stop option is 1.4. That one will give you a little bit more blur, or I guess let more light in. However, it is more expensive. So if you're on a budget, go for 1.8, it's totally fine. And now you may wonder, what's the difference between the 35 millimeter one and the 50 millimeter one? Basically, the 50 is more zoomed in and also kind of gives you a little bit more blur just because it is more zoomed in, if that makes sense. But anyway, imagine that you're standing in a spot and you have one camera with a 35 millimeter lens and the other with a 50 millimeter lens. So let's say you grab the 35 millimeter lens and you're gonna take a photo of a person, like a full body shot. So their whole body is in the shot. If you keep standing at the same spot and you take the 50 millimeter lens, you won't be able to get the full body in shot anymore because it will crop it in more, if that makes sense. Now, another thing with these lenses that you have to be aware of, or with any lenses to be honest, that you have to be aware of is if you're using, let's say, a 30 millimeter lens on a crop sensor camera, the 35 millimeter lens on the camera will look more like the 50 millimeter lens. And 50 millimeter lens on a crop sensor camera will look more like 70 millimeter lens on a full frame camera. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, if you're feeling very confused about this, just walk into your camera shop and the people who are selling the cameras will help you out choosing the right one. But yeah, I don't know. I'm currently using the 35 millimeter one. That's actually a cropped sensor lens, and I'm actually using it on a full frame camera. I'm very lucky that Nikon is very good with like lenses having backwards compatibility as well. I mean, do I want to upgrade to the newer 50 millimeter lens from the Z series that would be more suitable for my camera and a lot more profesh? Definitely. However, I'm currently not in a financial position to do so. The professional line of lenses is more expensive as it is. I think the 50 millimeter one from the series I want to get it from is like 600 euros and the 35 millimeter one is 800. In comparison, this one that I got was less than 200 euros. And to be honest, it does an amazing job, even if it's made for a crop sensor and I'm using it on a full frame camera now. So, you know, I can wait. Yeah, those are the three lenses that I think are great to start out with. I'm still using mine. Some of these are like 8 years old, I think. And to be honest, I don't think I'll ever stop using them. I just might upgrade them to like newer, sleeker versions. I really hope you found this video helpful. I hope it wasn't too confusing. If you're just starting out in photography, I know that focal lengths, f-stops and everything is very confusing when you're first starting out. But you know, once you get the basics down, you'll know all about it. it, and I'll definitely help you out with making more videos about photography if you're interested in seeing them. If you have any video requests as far as photography videos go, definitely let me know in a comment down below. I will definitely make a video that will cover like all the basics of photography, but that one's gonna take me probably quite a long time to film because I want to do it properly and not just, you know, rush through everything. So stick around, subscribe, and yeah, I'll definitely be making that one. But if you have any other questions, want to see something else, yeah, just let me know. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon in my next video. Bye!
About to leave, already packing, come with me, I'm not really asking.